I'm reading in Psalm 78 this morning, and it starts out with this like, I'm gonna give you these things that our ancestors used to know. Like, these are the lessons that they had, and they were supposed to pass this down from one generation to the next, but somewhere along the lines we dropped the ball. And so this is Asaph reminding people, like, this is the background, this is where we come from, this is our history. And he's sharing the story of Israelites, leaving Egypt and through the wilderness, and talks about people complaining, and God gives them water, and he gives them bread, and he gives them meat, and all this stuff in the wilderness, all these things. And you get to about like verse 32, I'll pick it up. He said, in spite of all this, they kept on sinning. In spite of his wonders, they did not believe. So he ended their days in futility and their years in terror. Whenever God slew them, they would seek him. They eagerly turned to him again. They remembered that God was their rock, that God Most High was their Redeemer. But then they would flatter him with their mouths, lying to him with their tongues. Their hearts were not loyal to him. They were not faithful to his covenant. And it just sticks out to me so much in that there are the things, these people were seeing God's miracles, like firsthand. They're literally eating the food that is a miracle, and yet complaining and like acting like they don't know if God can really be trusted or whatever. And God is upset, which rightfully so, I think. But it says that when things would go wrong, when God would turn and like judge them, when God would when God would finally have enough of their nonsense and things break out against them, there was like fire and plague and different stuff that happened. And it says, oh, they eagerly turned to him again, and they'd remember that God was their rock, and they'd flatter him with their mouths. And it's just, you know what? God's not impressed when you say a prayer when something goes wrong. He knows the condition of your heart. He knows if you're actually following him, if you actually like revere him, if you fear him, if you treat him with the respect he deserves. He knows. You're not going to fool him. No matter what fancy words you say, you can quote King James all you want. You're not fooling him. But the great part about that is it works exactly the other way too. When you have a really bad day or a really bad season and you're just depressed and you're miserable, God knows the true condition of your heart then too. Like, if you truly are committed and devoted and you follow him with your life, and that's who you are at your core, when you have a bad day, he's not rejecting you for that. He knows who we are on the inside. Our words don't fool him one way or the other. He sees the heart.